Hi everyone, welcome to the first of our Creative New Zealand Optimised Desk Series videos for 2018. I'm Vicky Allpress-Hill, Director of the Audience Connection. This series is providing an introduction to you to some of the most important digital channel metrics that you should be tracking, particularly if you're new to this or you're needing a bit of a refresher. Today we're starting with Instagram. Instagram now has more than 800 million monthly active users worldwide. According to data published by the New Zealand Listener in July this year, 35% of New Zealanders have an Instagram account. And a January 2018 report by Hootsuite has revealed that Instagram is the fourth most active social media platform in New Zealand after YouTube, Facebook, and Facebook Messenger. Today, I'll cover 5 Instagram metrics, what they are, where to find them, and why they're important. A few points about Instagram first. Firstly, in order to view your Instagram metrics and analytics, you'll need to convert your account to a business profile. If you haven't done this already, this is easy to do and opens up a whole lot of features for you, including Instagram advertising and these insights. If you go to the hamburger menu at the top right of your Instagram account, you can then follow go through settings and then account, and then follow the process to do this. It's easy to do. Secondly, to mention that the metrics we're talking about today are all available within the native Instagram app on your phone. However, if you're wanting to delve further into more advanced metrics, there are plenty of third-party apps that enable you to do this, including these ones here. And thirdly, you will find Instagram insights in 3 places within the app: at profile level, post level, and in stories. And yes, this is my cat's Instagram channel, The Daily Lottie, just saying. So starting with monthly follower growth, this is simply the number and percentage by which your Instagram followers are growing per month. On their own, follower numbers are not necessarily the most important metric, but they are an indicator of community growth and connection with our audiences. We certainly want the number of total followers to be going up, not down. So Instagram does not provide a monthly follower rate per se. It's up to us to extract the data and put it manually into a spreadsheet or similar, where we can create an equation to calculate the monthly growth. I recommend choosing a consistent day of the month and diarising the extraction and entry of data. It's a simple equation. It's just looking at the comparison between this month's followers and the previous month's followers, and looking at the difference and then taking that difference and dividing it into last month's followers to get a percentage growth rate. Tracking our follower growth on a monthly basis enables us to see the consistency of our progress and see peaks, troughs, and seasonal trends and what may be contributing to these. And then we can set benchmarks to compare against ourselves and also against others, and meaningful targets. With Instagram, I will mention that follower numbers can go up and down, sometimes a little alarmingly. An unexpected mention can boost your followers suddenly, but then in the days that follow, they can drop off again, especially when they realize you're not following them back. So play the long game and build a community of quality followers. Looking at hours and days, hours are the average times of the day that your followers are on Instagram, so on a typical day, and days are the days of the week when your followers are most active. This is profile level data. So you'll find it at profile level insights under the audience tab, and you scroll down to followers and you find hours and days, and you can toggle between them. It is important to note that hours are calculated for each day, so be sure to look at each of the days so that you can see the differences of time of day on different days for your particular audience. So getting familiar with when our followers are active on Instagram is super important. Firstly, we're dealing with the Instagram algorithm. 70% of Instagram posts don't actually get seen. So not only does the algorithm take note of how much engagement a post gets, it watches how quickly it gets that engagement. So if you get immediate likes and comments on a post that you've published, Instagram will deem that content to be of interest to your followers and of high quality. So you can use this data to schedule posts when your followers are most likely to be active. And do you have an international audience? Be sure to consider different time zones in your strategizing. And you can do that by reviewing top locations also in the Instagram Insights and toggle between cities and countries, and then cross-reference that data with hour and day. Impressions. These are the number of times that your posts, stories, or profile have been viewed during a selected period of time. You can find impressions in all three. When it's commonly confused with reach, but impressions are the total number of times that your content could have been seen. So if your impressions are higher than your reach, it's a sign that some people have viewed your content multiple times. An easy way to look at it is that if one person has seen your post 4 times, that's counted as 1 reach and 4 impressions. So you find total impressions for all your content across post, stories, and profile in your Profile Insights under the Activity tab. This is compiled for the last 7 days and provides a useful quick comparison to the previous 7 days, so you can instantly check whether you are doing better this week. This metric is useful to see overall viewership, and it's important to track your performance over time as it is with any of these things. So your impressions, as I mentioned, will generally be higher than your reach. If they're not, this is indicating that your content is not being reserved by Instagram or revisited by followers. So you want to look for posts that have a high impressions to reach ratio for an indicator of what's performing well, and then do more of what works. Post reach is the number of unique Instagram accounts or people that or who have viewed your post. The reason your post reach number is usually higher than impressions, as I mentioned, is that these are unique accounts or individuals, some of whom, as I've mentioned, will have seen the post multiple times. You find this data in, I'm talking about post reach here, so you find it in individual post insights under the discovery header. What is great is it tells you the number of accounts that are reached, but it also tells you the percentage of these accounts who weren't following you. So this is a really great indicator of your discoverability. If you're looking to find new audiences, this is one of the most important Instagram metrics to track. You may want to pay even closer attention to this metric if you're running organic or paid campaigns to connect with new communities in an intentional way. So this is really great to see if you are reaching audiences outside of your follower base. And as you experiment with hashtags and content and ads, you can start to see what's working to reach those new people. So finally, engagement is the holy grail of social media metrics across any channel. I'm going to preface this by explaining that there are numerous interpretations and recommendations as to how to calculate Instagram post engagement rate. The key is to pick one and use it consistently, because your goal is to be able to compare from post to post. Engagement rate is not calculated automatically by Instagram within the app. It needs to be manually extracted and then calculated. So here's how we calculate engagement rate. We choose to call engagements likes, comments, shares, and saves, which are those things along the top line of your post insights. We then divide the total number of likes, comments, shares, and saves for one post into the reach for that post. So for a post that we ran that had 87 likes, comments, shares, or saves, and a reach of 445, we had a 20% engagement rate. And obviously putting these into a spreadsheet and comparing from post to post is really starting to get a sense of what is making a post successful. We want audiences to be engaged in our content and ultimately to be engaged with our art, not just for the Instagram algorithm, but for the health and success of our organizations, because what we're doing on social media is ultimately for that purpose. So the engagement rate enables us to measure the impact of our content and compare between posts and do more of what works. And note, Instagram also tracks post interactions, which are the actions people take when they engage with their posts, things like clicks or profile visits. Following and tracking these 5 metrics is a great start to improving your performance on Instagram and ultimately your connection to new and existing audiences for your arts organisation. Thanks for joining me.